You'll hear a bunch of creaking. That's just the sound that this barn makes when it gets windy. I'm building this little house here as a semi-permanent structure. So rather than try to do any sort of fancy folding joints or use tape to hold it together, which will fail after not that long in the sun, I'm actually going to be gluing it together using Gorilla Glue, which will bond well to this. And it also will sort of expand. The way this works is you spray water on it, it kind of foams up and expands and then sets. And that will help fill in some of the gaps. Now, as a gap filler, it's not the greatest material ever, but it's one that I know will work for this purpose. And I'm not going to be really relying on its gap filling as the true source of strength. There's actually a laminating stage that is coming after this, and that's really what's going to give this a lot of strength. So this is mostly just to fill in the holes and get the shape. It'll still be reasonably strong and get it into the right shape that I want so that I can then go to the next steps. So I've got here what looks like some sort of, I don't know, medieval torture device or maybe some sort of massage tool, acupuncture, who knows. I think its actual purpose is for removing wallpaper, but I'm going to be using it to make a bunch of little holes in the side of this panel. Now, the folklore is that by poking these little holes in the panel, when the foam expands, it's going to be able to bite into there and almost act like tiny little nails and give it just a little bit more grip strength. I don't think anybody's ever tested it to see if that's true, but I don't think it hurts anything and it's quick to do, so I'm going to do it. To help keep these aligned, I've used some painter's tape on the outside seam. The next step is to apply the Gorilla Glue to both surfaces. This stuff has about a 10 to 15 minute working time once I activate it, so I got to move pretty quick once I get started here. So right now it's not active. It's pretty viscous, so I got to squeeze pretty hard to get it out of here. Just trying to get it on this surface, zigzagging back and forth. And then I'm going to do this one as well. And I could be putting way too much of this on. It's one of those things, if I put too much on, I can always cut off the excess, but if I don't put enough on, then I'm kind of in trouble. I have some experience doing this before on that green phone boat, and so I'm kind of using my recollection of how much is going to be necessary. Something seems to be jamming up the hole, which is not making my life any easier. Should be wearing goggles. I got gloves on because you don't want this on your hands, and I definitely don't want this in my eyes, so I'm going to put goggles on in case there's a splatter. This stuff is water activated, so getting it in your eyeball would definitely activate it. Nobody wants foaming glue in your eyeball in the middle of a pandemic. I'm going to have to explore here what's blocking this hole. I got the nozzle unjammed and this is coated. Now I just spray some water on here and that's going to start it foaming. So now I'm going to bring the two pieces together. It's not, a runaway thing. You can maybe see it starting to foam at the bottom, but I'm going to move on here. So I'm going to bring this together. And now I want to start doing the same thing to all the other pieces so that I can get it all squared up or hexagoned up before the glue starts to set. Like I said, there's about a 10 to 15 minute work time on here, so I got to move quick. I've put little bits of plastic on here because the foam is going to escape, and if it gets on the floor, it's really annoying to clean off. So I'd rather have it on something that is, I don't want to say disposable because there's not really trash service here, but on something that I can, well, that's actually why I'm using trash bags, is because eventually I'm going to put trash in those bags, and that trash will eventually be disposed of somewhere. So it seems like getting a little extra trash on the outside is a good compromise. So I should have taped the outside of this piece, and I forgot to before I put the glue on. It's okay, it's not the end of the world. I am still going to tape it. I'm going to spray it and then tape it. Let's see how that works out. So spraying it, spraying it, spraying it. All right, so I've sprayed it down, got it nice and wet, putting the two pieces together. And now I'm just going to put a little tape on the outside to hold it together. Trying to use tape while wearing latex gloves is always a challenge. It's hard to peel the tape back. Fortunately, this tape is not very sticky. With really sticky tape, it'll then just stick to the glove and tear holes in the glove. But if you take the gloves off, then you got to put another pair on. You can't reuse them. And then you end up wasting a lot of gloves. This is one of the things that I've discovered in the last year and a half is I'm not really a big fan of working with, epoxies and foams are great at what they do, but the process of building with them tends to be produce a lot of waste product, a lot of gloves and a lot of other things that you just got to throw out. And then the thing that you build from it, this one reason I want to do a careful job on building this little sleeping hut is that there's no effective way it has no good end of life story. Basically, I can throw it in a landfill and that's it. There's no way to recycle it or burn it or do anything responsible with it. So I'm kind of looking at moving into more sustainable building materials, but going forward. I've taped and glued all of the corners. Now I want to square this up. And a good way to do that usually is to measure the diagonals. This is where it'd be useful to have a helper. All right, okay, hooked on there. So right now I'm looking at, it's about 97 inches across that diagonal and 94 across this one. So definitely not square. These are closer together than those. So I want to try that. So I've got 8 feet. 8 feet. So that's pretty square, so I should stop monkeying with it. That's pretty hexagonal, so I should stop monkeying with that. I'm going to bring the camera in here and show you what's going on the inside. So if we look in this corner here, we can see this white stuff oozing out. That is the foaming action of the stuff, doing its little gap filling, gluing thing. For some reason, that corner is really going at it. Over here where I first started, it is not yet foamed up all that much. I might squirt some more water in there just to see if I can activate it more. Today was a pretty productive day, mostly a lot of computer work. I had to do my taxes, I had to do the thing that makes me money. But I did get a little time to go up to the barn and glue that foam together, so I'm getting closer to having a nice cozy spot to sleep at night. It was a real nice day, so it was a shame to spend so much of it indoors. It was warm, it was sunny, saw all the animals out, I saw a big old snake out. It's either a blue racer or a black rat snake. Not sure which. They look similar and I'm not experienced enough to tell the difference, but get a few more pictures. I know where it lives now, so get some more videos, get some more pictures and be able to figure out what that is. I found a shrew sleeping on one of my tarps. Found that accidentally. I was trying to tarp something and all of a sudden I see a shrew jump off the tarp and run away. And I saw one of the beautiful local cats here. I don't know if I saw any deer today. I probably saw deer. I've seen deer every day, or maybe today was the first day I didn't see them. That'd be weird. There are so many deer here. Anyways, I'm going to go to bed so I can get up early and do more work tomorrow.